Live from Chicago, this is Fox 32 News at noon.
And right now at noon, security surge on the CTA while the Federal Transit Administration says it is not enough. 1 in 3 Americans are set to travel for the holiday. How airports across the country are getting ready for an influx of passengers. And let's take a live look outside right now. Nice and bright and sunny out over Millennium Park on our Friday. What a nice way to celebrate Friday here at the end of the work week. Appreciate you joining us this noon. I'm Anthony Ponce in for Sylvia, and we're following breaking news involving the CTA's Blue Line right now. We're hearing reports that a man set himself on fire right near the Damon Avenue stop. This is not the Damon down near Forest Park, but the Wicker Park neighborhood. The man was taken to Stroger Hospital in critical condition. We will bring you more information as we get more info into the newsroom this afternoon. This latest incident happened on the same day that the CTA rolled out a new security plan to try to comply with a federal order. Just hours into that plan, though, the Federal Transit Administration said it didn't go far enough to protect riders. Roseanne Tejas has more now from the Belmont stop.
The Federal Transportation Administration is once again threatening to withhold federal funding if the CTA doesn't submit a new, more aggressive safety plan within the next 90 days. $50 million is on the line. FTA Administrator Mark Molinaro writing, "I'll say it plainly, CTA, city and state leaders are failing transit riders and operators." This comes just as the CTA launched a new safety plan this morning. Pressure to enhance security was growing, especially after the violent attack on the Blue Line when a woman was set on fire. The CTA and CPD say the number of sworn officers on buses and trains today is increasing from an average 77 per day to 120, and K-9 guards will go up from 172 to 188. But Molinaro says the plan doesn't include targets that effectively reduce assaults and other crimes. One CTA employee we talked to said there are a lot of measures in place to make riders feel safe, although not all do.
We have the call buttons on the trains, so if they have any problems or issues on the trains, they can always call the operators and the trains are stopped and K-9 backs us up, and we have a direct connection to CPD, which usually when we give them a call, they come right away.
Your concerns about the trains?
It's not safe at all. I don't think it'll never be safe no matter what they do in this city.
Other CTA riders say while safety is important, federal government interference is not the answer.
I'm personally very skeptical of when the federal administration steps in on our cities, the way we run things around here.
The FTA is asking that the new security enhancement plan have more aggressive crime reduction targets. We did reach out to various city officials today for comment on this new federal government action. We have not yet heard back. At the Belmont station, Roseanne Tejas, Fox 32, Chicago.
Happening right now, a court hearing for the man accused of setting a woman on fire on the Blue Line. Lawrence Reed faces a terrorism charge in the case. And we've reported on his lengthy rap sheet over the weeks. He's also now facing new charges, arson charges, for allegedly trying to set City Hall on fire 3 days before the CTA attack. We will keep you updated. And strong winds may be causing some loose scaffolding to perhaps come down or get rickety there. Our cameras caught that scene. This was this morning in the South Austin neighborhood just off of North Parkside. Police say the scaffolding was first spotted around 9:45 last night. Thankfully, no injuries have been reported. No word yet on when that scaffolding will be fixed or taken down. Hopefully sooner than later. Caitlin Cody, not good timing on that. I'm guessing the wind had to play a factor. I know it was howling yesterday, right?
Gusts above 30 miles per hour even this morning, yeah. But behind me, you can see that it's beautiful for us in Chicagoland. What I want to show you, though, in this perspective is that we've got sunshine. But if you are traveling, it's Friday after all, to family perhaps in Michigan, you round the lake, you are going to run into some snow, especially LaPorte and Berrien County points north, the western half of Michigan. For us, though, here locally, we do have cold temperatures, and really that's the main headline. We are sitting in the teens. It's only 15 degrees at the lakefront, 18 in Gary, 16 at O'Hare, as well as Midway, 18 in Joliet, 13 in DeKalb. Wind speeds now, they're down into the 20s. As mentioned earlier this morning, they were above 30 miles per hour, but it's still going to be gusty out there. We're seeing winds around 23 miles per hour at O'Hare and 26 in Waukegan, 21 in Gary, 22 in Morris. So the feel-like temperature down at the single digits, if not below zero. Right now it feels like 2 at the lakefront and 3 at O'Hare, 3 degrees below zero from Aurora to DeKalb. Here's your day planner. Temperature is staying in the 20s today as our high. So we work our way to 3 p.m. and it's 23 degrees. This evening, 5 o'clock, 22. Tomorrow, we're back to the 40s, but then the 20s will be here on Sunday. A full check of your forecast is coming up.
Thank you, Caitlin. We will see you shortly for that. It's 12:05. A Broadview committee has stopped an ordinance to expand a ban on ICE agents on village property. The Sun-Times says the zoning board was worried about confusion in this ordinance because no one was sure if the proposal would restrict ICE or allow it to expand. However, the village board could still take it up. Faith leaders are showing support for those detained at Broadview. Catholic priests, along with the Coalition for Spiritual and Public Leadership, demonstrated right outside the ICE field office on Ida B. Wells Drive in the city this morning. They delivered a letter requesting access to the Broadview ICE detention facility to provide communion and other religious services to the detainees.
They will not have access to the body of Christ in the Eucharist on Christmas. They are denied pastoral care, which is their right by law. We cannot be silent when this most basic religious freedom is denied.
Religious leaders have written several letters over the past 3 months asking to enter the Broadview ICE facility, but they say none of them have received a response. And families in Chicago who have been impacted by the recent ICE raids are getting a little bit of relief. It's all thanks to a community-led effort called Operation Midway Bliss, with 2 S's, not a TZ. Volunteers seen packaging food and other essentials to send to impacted families. Operation Midway Bliss started small with just 2 neighbors to help get gifts to kids in need in the communities that have been hit hard by ICE operations. And the Operation Midway Bliss quickly took off on social media. Organizers are hoping the support means that these families have one less thing to worry about during the holidays. Chicago City Council could begin taking final votes on the alternative budget plan today. This version does not include that controversial corporate head tax that Mayor Johnson has been fighting for. The mayor has yet to say whether he plans to veto this proposal. Now, if council doesn't pass a budget by the 30th of this month, Chicago would then see an unprecedented government shutdown. We will have the very latest from City Hall coming up on the news at 4 o'clock. Meantime, holiday travel picking up with nearly 4.8 million passengers expected to travel through O'Hare and Midway through January 5th. Airports across the country are also getting ready for an influx of passengers for the winter holiday rush. Rebecca Castor joins us now from Ronald Reagan Washington National Airport with some useful advice for a smoother travel experience. Happy holidays, Rebecca.
Happy holidays, Anthony. And I know it's going to sound cliche, but my best advice here is for people to give themselves as much time as possible, because even though it seems like we say this every year, travel experts once again are predicting a record number of people to travel over the next 13 days. It's the Friday before Christmas. And all across the country, millions of Americans are getting a jump start on holiday travel.
We're coming home to see family and friends. It'll be nice to be back home.
We weren't sure if we were going to be hitting the holiday, holiday craziness or not, but it's been an easy day.
AAA projects this year's peak travel period starts Saturday and will run through January 1st.
Pack as light as you can, especially if you're going to be traveling with gifts and you're going to be checking luggage.
For those traveling by air, about 8 million people are expected to fly, a 2.3% increase from last year.
Get to the airport 3 hours early. I know that sounds extreme, but These days, most airports have so much to do.
And for those traveling by car, which is most of us, it's projected nearly 110 million will be hitting the roads, up 2% from 2024. Nationwide, gas prices are the lowest they've been in 5 years, falling below $3 per gallon.
It's not as painful at the pump.
It's always nice to have cheaper prices.
And if you're driving to the airport, it's suggested you show up early, reserve parking in advance, or use public transportation.
Yeah, I Ubered here and it was pretty easy.
And just another holiday travel tip for you. Don't put wrapped gifts in your suitcase in case they have to go through extra screening by TSA. I've had it happen to me before where they're unwrapping gifts at the security checkpoint. So wait to do your wrapping until you get to the final destination. Anthony, I'll send it back to you.
Consider yourself warned, gift wrappers. Thank you very much, Rebecca. Great advice there. Okay, bragging rights and the top spot in the division, both on the line for the Bears tomorrow night. They are facing the Packers for the second time in 3 weeks, and you can catch all the action right here. Our coverage begins with Bears Game Day Live at 1:30. Kickoff is at 7:20, and then after the game, we will hear from Ben Johnson, Caleb Williams, and we'll go inside the Bears locker room, hopefully a victorious locker room. 12:10, more news here on the Fox 32 News at noon. Police are trying to figure out why a man would kill 2 students at Brown University and an MIT professor before taking his own life. Also, a NASCAR legend and his family were killed in a plane crash. We will have a live report with the very latest on the investigation.
Corporations and insurance companies have the
Investigators are trying to figure out what caused a plane crash that killed NASCAR legend Greg Biffle and his family yesterday in North Carolina. The National Transportation Safety Board and the FAA, they are looking through the crash site right now in Statesville, North Carolina. That's about 40 miles north of Charlotte. And that is where we find Asher Red. Asher, what can you see from where you are, and what are you hearing in terms of the latest in this investigation, sir?
Well, this is about as close as we can get to that crash site. And if you look over my shoulder, you can see the charred remains of that plane. Now, we've seen investigators with the National Transportation Safety Board and the Federal Aviation Administration coming and going as they need to. Now, this crash killed 7 people, including NASCAR legend Greg Biffle and his wife and their 2 children. A Cessna 550, which was owned by Biffle, crashed when it was trying to land here at the Statesville Regional Airport in North Carolina. Now, flight records show the plane was headed to the Bahamas, but shortly after taking off, FlightAware, a flight tracking website, showed that the plane looped back around before hitting the ground. At the time of the crash, the fog around the airport limited the pilot's visibility to about 5 miles. Now, folks who live near this airport say it's not uncommon to see corporate jets flying over this small town.
During race season, we constantly have the jets flying over the house. Yeah. I guess in the back of your mind, you always know that something could happen, but you never really worry about it.
Biffle retired from NASCAR in 2016 after 19 NASCAR Cup victories, 20 Xfinity Series wins, and 17 checkered flags in the Craftsman Truck Series. He also became a champion off the track when he used his personal helicopter to deliver supplies and internet service to Hurricane Helene victims.
I watched him since I was a kid, and he was one of my favorite drivers, and the way he drove, and he inspired us all. This event impacted everybody, and this is just a sad day, you know. I don't want to see what was back there.
And the airport director says the airport will be closed until crews can get the debris cleared off the east side of the runway and get this runway to where it's safe to travel on again, but he says that could take time. Back to you.
Okay, Asher, thank you for the update. We appreciate it. All right, time to get local, give you a live look at our city right now. Looks nice and calm out there. It's windy. I mean, perhaps we just can't see the wind. Caitlin, how are we doing outside?
It's a little bit windy, but the winds have backed off since this morning. Temperature-wise, though, what a difference a day makes. That's where I want to start is our 24-hour temperature change from yesterday at this time to today at this time. 34 degrees colder at O'Hare, 33-degree temperature drop at the lakefront. So we're seeing that 25 to 35-degree temperature difference this early afternoon. This is something you're going to feel with or without the wind. It is cold outside, feeling like we could be in the single digits, if not below 0, as we get a little further out west. Temperatures, though, the actual temperature is 16 degrees. The lakefront, O'Hare, and Midway. 18 in Joliet. Northwest Indiana, temperatures for you are in the mid to upper teens. Right now, it's 18 in Gary and Michigan City, and 16 from LaSalle to Morris. Here's your futurecast. Let's take you through the rest of the day. So today, it is going to be cold. Highs only in the 20s, but we've got sunny skies, so quiet conditions outside of that. Moving on into tonight, it is going to be a cool night, but not too cold. Notice temperatures for most staying in the 20s. Tomorrow, we're going to be in the 40s. But I wanted to show you the wet weather that we do expect. 6 a.m. and we're seeing a good mix of rain and snow, light precipitation expected in the morning, scattered in nature. Then we work our way into the afternoon, and most of us are going to be dry, but we do have the chance for a passing light area of drizzle. Temperatures are back to about 40 degrees. Then by 4:45, we're pushing back down into the 30s. Then cold air does return for Sunday, so it's a 50-50 weekend. Saturday will be mild. Sunday is going to be cold, but it will be beautiful. High temperatures only reaching back into the 20s on Sunday, but next week, of course, it's Christmas week. We have very mild temperatures expected. We could be in the 50s on Christmas. A full check of your 70 forecast is ahead.
Wow. Okay. Thank you very much, Caitlin. Appreciate it. Well, the search for the suspect in both the Brown University mass shooting and the deadly shooting of the MIT professor ended last night at a storage facility where authorities found the suspect here, the person of interest wanted, dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Brian Yennis has more now from Providence, Rhode Island.
The community stepped up.
The manhunt is over, and Claudio Neves Valente, the man accused of killing 2 people at Brown University and an MIT professor, is now dead. This case was broken wide open by a homeless man known only as John. He's a former Brown student who locked eyes with the gunman just 2 hours before the shooting, then followed him out of the building and played a game of cat and mouse throughout the neighborhood. John then wrote an anonymous Reddit post about the gunman's parked gray Nissan sedan. Police used that information to trace the suspect to a storage facility in New Hampshire, where he was found dead. We asked police why a homeless citizen noticed a suspicious person and not the cops.
That's what we should all be doing, right? And it's just personality. Some people are more interested in finding out what others are doing.
But police still won't say what they think the shooter's motive might have been.
Some general gripe against the school, somebody leading a slipping down life. And then there's this professor at MIT who seems to have been everything that this guy perhaps wanted to be.
Meanwhile, life is slowly returning to normal on campus. Some students say they're still in shock, while others just want to get back to class.
You know, we're all starting to get back into the flow of things, going back to regular daily motions. It's still a little bit hard, but we're, making our way there.
The Rhode Island Attorney General says John should be eligible for the $50,000 reward for providing information about the shooter. In Providence, Rhode Island, Brian Yennis, Fox 32, Chicago.
The Trump administration has now suspended the green card lottery program that allowed the Brown University shooting suspect to enter the U.S. back in 2017. That announcement was made last night, just hours after the information was released that the suspect was a Portuguese national. The Department of Homeland Security says the suspect enrolled in the program back in 2017 and was promptly issued a green card. And the Justice Department must release its files on Jeffrey Epstein by the end of the day today. The deadline comes as House Democrats release these and other photos from Epstein's estate. And President Donald Trump signed a bill back in November giving the DOJ 30 days to release these records, and they could contain the most detailed look yet at nearly 2 decades worth of investigations into Jeffrey Epstein's sexual abuse. Other news, a jury in Wisconsin has convicted the Milwaukee judge, Hannah Dugan is her name, of felony obstruction for interfering with federal immigration officers who were trying to arrest an illegal immigrant right outside her courtroom back in April. All right, Oliviana Calms has been in court throughout this trial. And Oliviana, what led up to the verdict and what happens from here?
Yeah, Anthony, after about 6 hours of deliberations, the jury came back with a split verdict. They found her guilty on that felony obstruction charge you mentioned, but they acquitted her on the second misdemeanor count, which was concealing an individual to prevent arrest. Now, over 4 days of testimony, we heard from 23 witnesses, 19 called by the government and 4 by the defense. Prosecutors argue that Dugan was, quote, not a confused or paranoid judge, but a frustrated and angry judge. They say she took it upon herself to confront federal agents, send them over to the chief judge's office, creating an opening for the man, a Mexican national charged with battery, to escape. Dugan then guided him and his attorney out her courtroom through a private jury door and into a private hallway. Agents did eventually arrest that man outside the courthouse after a chase. Federal prosecutors repeatedly pointed out an audio recording from that morning where Dugan said, "I'll do it, I'll get the heat." They told jurors Dugan was still guilty of obstruction, even if she personally disagreed with the government's immigration policies. The defense argued Dugan was confused, though, by unclear and unfinished policies when it came to ICE making arrests in the courthouse. Both sides weighed in after the verdict.
Obviously disappointed. The mixed verdict is the big thing. From the defense perspective, I would just say the case is a long way from over.
The defendant exercised her constitutional right to put the government to its proof. We met that burden, and the jury has found the defendant guilty. It will now be up to the judge to determine what are the appropriate consequences.
Now, the judge didn't set a sentencing date yesterday, but for that count, Dugan does face up to 5 years in prison and a $250,000 fine. Back to you guys.
Okay, Oliviana, thank you very much for that report. Good news for cheese lovers, everybody. Coming up, details on new research that says it may help prevent one of the reasons behind aging. All right, researchers sounding the alarm on the importance as well of dental hygiene. Details on a connection between heart health and gum disease when we come back.
Saturday, a football doubleheader. Eagles.
Cheese lovers rejoice this holiday season. A new study suggests that eating more high-fat cheese and high-fat cream may help lower the risk of dementia. Researchers analyzed data from more than 27,000 people, and this study found that the brain health of people who ate 50 grams or more of high-fat cheese daily had a 13% lower risk of developing the disorder. However, researchers noted that there were no links found between dementia risk and eating low-fat cheese or cream, any type of milk, butter, or yogurt products. The American Heart Association says that there may be a connection between heart disease and gum disease. Researchers found that bacteria and plaque buildup in the mouth can actually find its way into the bloodstream, increasing the risk of cardiovascular issues, including stroke and heart attack. The association says that good oral hygiene isn't just good for your teeth, it could also protect your heart as well, so double benefit there. Flu season, you may have noticed, in full swing right now. And the CDC says flu cases in New York this past month have skyrocketed to some of the highest levels in the country. H3N2 is the dominant flu strain this winter. Health experts say it mutated to become the threat it is now, and it is not covered by this year's vaccine.
When it comes to family gatherings, I think the same thing holds. If you plan to be around somebody who's immunocompromised, it's really important that you get vaccinated so that you don't bring that flu virus to them and other kind of communicable illnesses.
Back here at home, health officials say that ER visits are already climbing, especially with kids. So doctors are encouraging everyone to still get vaccinated. All right, 12:27, we've got more news and weather coming up right after a short break. Welcome back. Here's a look at some of the top stories we are following for you here at noon. We're hearing reports that a man set himself on fire on the CTA Blue Line train right near the Damon Avenue stop in the Wicker Park neighborhood. The man was taken to Stroger Hospital in critical condition. We will bring you more information as soon as it comes into the newsroom. Right now, the City Council has taken up the alternative budget plan, and this is the version that does not include the corporate head tax that Mayor Johnson has been fighting for. The mayor has yet to say whether he plans to veto this alternative proposal. If council does not pass a budget by December 30th, then Chicago would see an unprecedented government shutdown. We will have the very latest from City Hall coming up on our news at 4 o'clock. Huge game for the Bears tomorrow night, Soldier Field. They're facing the Packers for the second time in 3 weeks, and you can catch all the action right here on Fox 32 Chicago. Our coverage begins with Bears Game Day Live. That's at 1:30. Kickoff is at 7:20. And then after the game, we will hear from Ben Johnson, Caleb Williams, and we will go inside what will hopefully be a celebratory Bears locker room. All right, meteorologist Caitlin Cody joining us now with another look at the forecast. That is spectacular. There's a lot of people out there at the Bean right now.
Look at that.
Yeah.
You know, last Friday, we were talking about how it was empty and it was mild. And this Friday, it's 16 degrees outside. And look at everybody.
Look at that.
Just enjoyed it. But it is sunny.
Yep.
I love this shot, too, because you can see the sky. Blue sky over our beautiful city. It's glowing. And as long as you're dressed the right way, get outside. It's a little bit gusty. We could see winds around 25 to 30 miles per hour. So it's cold, but at least we do have the sunshine. With that being said, up and down with these temperatures. Tomorrow, it's going to be a mild day. Highs back to the 40s, but then on Sunday, the 20s are here. Now, generally speaking, a quiet weekend, a little bit of wet weather possible Saturday, but let's get into it. First of all, happy Friday. Temperatures outside are sitting in the teens. We're seeing 16 at the lakefront and Midway, as well as Valpo. It's 18 degrees now in Gary and 14 from Aurora to DeKalb. So temperatures, they're lacking. And the gusts, these don't help. Right now, the wind speeds are at 23 miles per hour at times from O'Hare to 22 in Chicago Heights, 21 in Gary. So 20 to 30 mile per hour wind gusts are possible today. With a feel-like temperature of 2 at the lakefront, yikes. 3 at O'Hare, 3 degrees below 0 in Aurora, 2 degrees below 0 in DeKalb, Northwest Indiana. You feel like you could be right around 4. Here's your future cast. Let's take you through the rest of the day. So again, highs only in the 20s today. This evening, 7 o'clock, and we're back down to the low 20s. And tonight, that's kind of where we stay. I expect the low to mid 20s. In fact, temperatures increasing as we head into early tomorrow. Saturday, 7 a.m., and we're looking at the low 30s. It's going to be a more mild day on Saturday. Temperatures peaking in the low 40s. And we do have the chance for a little bit of wet weather around, some drizzle, perhaps a few snowflakes mixing in. And then on Sunday, it's going to be a dry and quiet, partly cloudy day, but temperatures are only reaching the 20s. So here's your future cast for today. A little bit gusty, very cold. Tomorrow, there's that peak of wet weather expected in the morning, and then again in the evening. Most stay dry, though. Then we work our way into Sunday, and we have that cold air streaming back in. High pressure is in control, though, so it's going to be a quiet but cold Sunday. But our 7-day outlook as we work in Christmas week, temperatures are going to be well above where we should be for this time of year. Monday, 38, but then we're back to 45 on Tuesday. Wednesday, a high of almost 50. Then we have the chance for a little bit of rain Wednesday night before on Christmas Day, a high of 54 is expected. Back to you.
54 on Christmas Day. Wow. Okay, Caitlin, thank you very much. Well, rapper G Herbo is back on the South Side today. He's hosting a fireside chat for students at Epic Academy. This is part of his Swerving Through Stress program in collab with the Bulls, Chicago Bulls. Now, during the event, students will receive free Bulls tickets and new gym equipment from Wilson Sporting Goods. This visit comes as that school prepares to close due to financial challenges and also declining enrollment. Organizers say the goal here is to encourage and uplift during a tough transition. The Jesse White Foundation continues to give back this holiday season. Today, Jesse White Foundation hosted its annual holiday food giveaway. Look at those boxes. They wound up distributing 10,000 hams and turkeys to seniors and families.
When nothing or no one believes in you, what's there left? What are you going to turn to? We go all the way up to age 12, and think about that. That is 6th grade. Where were you at 6th grade? Did you know what you were going to do? Did someone have faith in you?
All right, it's the 59th year that White has coordinated this food program, and Christmas is coming early as well for students at Glenwood Academy. This is the 2nd annual last-minute holiday shopping spree hosted by the University of Illinois at Chicago men's basketball team and Flames coach Robert Eson. This afternoon, the team is taking 25 students ranging from 1st all the way up to 8th grade to their local Target to fulfill their Christmas wishes. The shopping spree is entirely funded by Coach Eson. The DuPage County Toys for Tots in Lombard working to make the holidays special for local kids in need there as well. Held a volunteer event last night. People were able to come out and help unload toys for kids in need. They're also working with the Medina Shriners this year. They are the organization behind Shriners Children's Hospitals. You still have time to make a difference for a child in need this holiday season. Not too late. Toys for Tots has campaigns across Chicagoland, not just in DuPage County. If you want to donate a toy, you can find the closest drop-off location near you online on their website. You can also sign up to volunteer and help out in the warehouse if that works better for you or your family. We're right back after this short message.
I'm Jonathan Lawson, here to tell
Right now, taking a live look at the New York Stock Exchange, trading just over $48,000. Now it's time, points I should say. Now it's time to look at your business headlines with CJ Papa.
TikTok announcing a new U.S. venture allowing the popular video app to stay in America. The deal is set to sell over 80% of the Chinese-based company to American investors as a way to avoid a U.S. government ban. TikTok CEO says the agreement will enable, quote, over 170 million Americans to continue discovering a world of endless possibilities as part of a vital global community. The new U.S. company will be valued at around $14 billion. The deal expected to close next month. Elon Musk weighing in on the Trump accounts for newborns set to roll out next year, saying they're a nice gesture, but may not be necessary going forward. That's because he says saving money won't be necessary with universal high income set to prevail in the future. Michael Dell of Dell Technologies is backing the Trump administration's proposal. Musk says, quote, it is certainly a nice gesture of the Dells, but there will be no poverty in the future, and so no need to save money. There will be universal high income. Musk is on record saying AI and robotics will eliminate poverty and the need to work, creating a universal level of wealth. And new Fox News polls are shedding light on how Americans are feeling about AI. 63% of voters say they are concerned about AI, while only 37% deny having any worries about the new tech. Despite the race against China for advancement, 80% of Americans prefer a careful approach to developing AI, and less than 20% favor a quick progression to beat our adversaries. That's business. CJ Papa, Fox 32, Chicago.
All right, our noon show will be wrapping up in about 20 minutes, but Chicago Live is just about to get started. Here, Anita Blanton standing by with a look at what is coming up ahead on a Friday afternoon. Hey, Anita.
Hey, Anthony. Yeah, we have some big conversations about important topics with wide-ranging impact today on Chicago Live between 1 and 4 p.m. Representative Quigley is going to be joining me to talk about what happens to health insurance in America for so many people in just a few weeks. Will this premium skyrocket, or will Congress be able to work something out? We are coming down to the wire on that. United for Chicago, the new coalition of business, civic, faith, and philanthropic leaders who have joined together to support communities deeply impacted by Operation Midway Blitz, will be joining me to discuss their mission amid renewed efforts by the federal authorities in our area this week. We're also bringing on an attorney with Chicago Immigration Advocates Law Offices to talk about President Trump suspending the green card lottery program. That's coming as a result of the Brown University mass shooting, connecting that to the killing of the professor at MIT and the suspect now behind both. So we have some very serious discussions that need to be had, but we're also spreading some holiday cheer. We're going to have Santa send-off in Bolingbrook. We're going live to a turkey giveaway, a toy drive with deep significance in Indiana, and our friend, the one and only Avi Loeb, is going to be on the show once again, but this time it's as Atlas gets as close as it ever will be to Earth. That's all today in a jam-packed 3 hours ahead on Chicago Live. We'll see everybody online starting at 1, Anthony.
Can't wait. Anita, thank you so much. Well, are you hosting this holiday season? We are going to be visited next by a world champion bartender who shows us cocktails you can make ahead for a crowd. Talking about large batch cocktails here. That is coming up next. Stay with us.
Start your week.
Welcome back. Holiday hosting does not have to be complicated, everybody. And joining us now to prove that point, world champion bartender Charles Jolie with easy, large batch cocktails for a crowd. Charles, thank you for being here.
It's my pleasure.
When I say world champion, will you give us a little background? I hate to ask you to toot your own horn, but you know what I mean? You're a world champion. And give us a little bit of resume.
No, I appreciate that. I did win the Global Bartending Championship several years ago. The only American to have won that title. Now I've got Craft House Cocktails. I make the cocktails for the Oscars, the Emmys. I'll be out at Sundance next month. So yeah, I get to make cocktails for a crowd all the time.
I'd say we are in good hands this afternoon to kick off our weekend, right? Okay, what have you brought in for us here?
So we're looking at large format cocktails. When you're entertaining, we want to make sure that you are able to host and enjoy your time with your guests and aren't tied into the kitchen and aren't tied into the bar the whole time. The first thing I did here is a rosemary French 75. Absolutely love this cocktail. Super simple. It's 3 ingredients, and we're going to use this jumbo shaker.
Okay.
I actually designed this piece.
You can use a smaller one.
You can use a smaller one if you want to shake a couple times. I'm saving work. I say smarter, not harder.
That's right.
So we're making this is just lemon, fresh lemon juice, of course, here. A little bit of rosemary simple syrup and gin. Sometimes a French 75 is made with cognac, but, and you can do, this shaker's 50 ounces, so I can make easily 5 cocktails at once, so I don't need to do all that shaking. I've got a couple poured up here already.
And do you have the amounts listed on an Instagram page or something like that?
100%. Okay, we'll put them on our drink Craft House and our mine at Charles Jolie on Instagram here. Let me give you one of these while I'm shaking, just so you have something there.
Some point of reference?
Yeah, you got to make sure. We need taste testers always, right? So I love this thing, too. I think of it like a modern punch bowl. I shake it up, and I can leave it right out on the table. The guests can then go ahead and serve themselves if they want to.
It's great. I was a little worried, you know, with the tart factor with the lemon juice, but no, there's a lot of things to offset that.
Right.
Oh, it's delicious.
And then we finish this off with some sparkling wine. And since we do, you know, we're doing the midday here. I'm actually going to use an NA. This is Odd Bird, non-alcoholic. It's an alcohol.
The management here will appreciate that.
Well, the cocktail's got gin in it, so we're only halfway there with our sparkling wine. Sometimes we want something after dinner as well, a little bit more boozy, and so I've got an apples and oranges spiced old-fashioned that I'm making
here. You got Granny Smiths in there?
I do. I've got Granny Smiths. I've got some blood oranges studded with some cloves. I've got some zest from orange. I've got cinnamon sticks. So we make this whole thing ahead of time in this infuser. This is another tool that I designed as well. If you don't have the infuser, use a big mason jar, but this gives you these beautiful layers in here. It's a great
How long is this sitting in there?
So I'm going to show you just how quick this is to make. I've had this going for a week. When I said,
a week.
When they told me I'm coming to make cocktails with you, I really wanted to nail this with you. So
you're not a procrastinator.
A little bit of bourbon, a little bit of cognac, plenty of bitters, and this is like here on in 4 minutes. We're chatting and we're making cocktails for 12 to 14 people here. Whole thing. That's it. That's all we do. We give it a little stir. And then this goes into our infuser for anywhere from a day to a week.
A week
however long you want to go.
If you're a champion.
Yeah. So,
and you just let that thing sit.
Oh yeah.
But what would be the minimum here? Would it be 24 hours?
I would say a day.
Okay.
Give it a day. But if you use things that are more potent, hibiscus, rosemary, herbs like that, then those are going to infuse much quicker.
Much quicker.
Yep. And I've got this one sitting here.
Okay.
So we can.
This is the one. I'm tasting the aged.
You are. You are.
The 1 week old.
So I've got some beautiful festive ice, and I think this is it.
Big cube.
The glass that we're doing, the garnishes that we're doing, this can take your cocktail from simple to up-leveled in such an easy way. My friends at Abstract Ice sent me some of these beautiful etched cubes.
They're amazing cubes. Is this with that special? Yeah, I don't know how they do that, but they look. There's a snowflake here.
All right.
Oh my gosh, we got to cheers it up.
So we've got a little bit of clove here. It's coming back from the infusion. We've got a bourbon and cognac old-fashioned.
Charles Jolie.
And if you don't want to make these on your own, this is this most simple thing. So I actually make these as well, and this is a beautiful way. I'll take my ice bucket, I'll put a whole mix and match for folks. They can serve themselves, so you can have that time with your guests.
Tastes like the holidays. Charles, thank you so much. Cheers. Cheers. Salud. Yep.
Have a great
Bottoms
holiday.
up here. While we go to break, we'll be back with more after this. All right, some different kind of Chicago bulls at the UC. The world's top bull riders are back in Chicago to unleash the Beast Series takes over the UC this weekend. Jake Hamilton here with a preview.
That's right, guys. We are out here behind the scenes at the United Center where, you know, normally there's a different kind of Chicago Bulls that people come out to see. But this weekend is something special. Come on out and take a look at this. PBR Unleash the Beast. It is tonight and Saturday night. It is the toughest sport on dirt. And one of the reasons why is this man right here. Colton, hello. Colton, good to see you, man. Professional bull rider. Welcome to Chicago.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, man. First of all, how you feeling? You're going to be taking on a bull tonight?
Yes, sir. I feel pretty good. Tonight's the first night, and we're pretty excited about it.
Fantastic. Well, walk with me for a second, because you guys are giving us some really great access to this place. You know, getting on a bull, riding a bull is something that most people will never experience, will never know what it's actually like. What are those 8 seconds like? How do you describe that to people who will never have that experience like you?
It's trying to control like a car wreck. It's a controlling an out of control situation. So it's the longest 8 seconds of your life, but it's worth it.
Our next guest, I would argue, the most important person that's going to be at the United Center this weekend. This is Jared Groney. Jared, you are the safety man. Explain to people what that means exactly.
So I'm the second line of defense behind the bullfighters. The bullfighters are the main line of safety to protect the bull riders. But if somebody gets knocked out or goes down, we can get in there and kind of help control the situation.
So take me to that situation. What has to happen? Because, I mean, your eyes are on these guys. You know, we were saying in the last hour, 8 seconds. But 8 seconds is a long time when you're on the back of that bull. What has to happen for you to say, all right, I need to get involved?
Don't miss would be the first thought that goes through my mind. But it all depends upon the situation. There's a lot of moving parts, a lot of people in the arena. But we want the show and the production to go smoothly, so that's kind of, I judge it based upon that.
All right, guys, if you want to see a different kind of Chicago bull out here at the United Center, all you got to do is come on out tonight or tomorrow. PBR, it is an event unlike anything you've ever seen. This one's called Unleash the Beast. Tickets start at just under $40. So much fun to be had. You don't want to miss it. On that note, we're going to toss it back to you guys in the studio.
Good stuff there. Caitlin's going to be back with the final check of the forecast right away.
I'm Jonathan Lawson.
All right, welcome back. The crowd is even bigger at the Bean. Caitlin, does that mean it's getting warmer outside?
No.
No?
Anthony, should we go out there too? Maybe they have free food. They're giving out Chicago hot dogs or something. Maybe some hot chocolate.
There you go.
Temperatures, no, they're going to be cold today all day long. It feels like the low single digits right now downtown. 23 is our high today, but tomorrow we're back to 42. It's going to be a really mild Saturday, but we could see a little bit of wet weather around with some drizzle in spots on Saturday. Sunday, we're looking good, but back to the 20s, not feeling so good. 27 is our high on Sunday. Next week, it's Christmas week. Monday, 38 degrees, 45 Tuesday. And then we're going to be near 50 on Wednesday. We have a small chance for some wet weather Wednesday night. And then, of course, for Thursday, which is Christmas, very mild temperatures back to the mid-50s. Just to give you some perspective here, we should be in the upper 30s. 36 is our normal high today. So we're a little bit all over the place. We're below, and then we're above, and then we're below again. But next week, really, the trend is looking like we're going to be above normal with these temperatures. In the meantime,